Hi everyone, I'm Frances Coffey with the Pastry Depot. I wanted to go over how to use our gluten-free cake mix. The first recipe it's gonna give you on the box is for the whole box. We're gonna scale this down to a 1 kilogram recipe. So I'm doing 1 kilogram. The whole recipe is for 5 kilograms, so I just divided everything by 5. So 1,120 grams divided by 5, 1,500 grams for the warm water divided by 5, whole eggs, 1,750 grams divided by 5, same thing, 5 kilograms divided by 5, 1 kilogram. So that's how you scale it down to the 1 kilogram batch. But I'm gonna be doing a sheet cake today. I think the 1 kilogram recipe will make 2 half sheet pans. I can't remember, but we're gonna find this out together. And this is good to know, and you will write this down for future projects. I'm gonna scale the dry mix because all I have to do is dump in the wet ingredients afterwards. So it's really important as well to have a scale that can go to grams. So I'm gonna get 1,000 grams of cake mix. Oh, that's exactly 1,000, I did it, victory. And the recipe says I need 350 grams of eggs. I always measure the eggs in a separate container because sometimes you get a bad egg, and if you throw that straight into your mix, you will have to start all over. Oh man, I'm so close. I have to do a little bit of this one. Perfect. And then we need 300 grams of warm water, and you need warm water because you need to activate the ingredients in your cake mix. And I know you're probably thinking, why does this have to be so exact? This is like a scientific equation. It needs to be exact or else this is not going to come out correct. Scaled, it's 224 grams of oil. You can do anything with this to change it up. So I'm gonna do a gluten-free chocolate cake. So I'm gonna add some delicious cocoa powder. This is the Nature by Cocoa Berry. I'm in love with this cocoa powder. It has not been alkalized. That sometimes can mess up some recipes because it's almost like a baking soda flavor. So if you already have baking soda in your mix, sometimes the alkalization can mess it up and maybe it won't rise that much, or it just gets like a soapy taste. This is not processed, so it is natural cocoa. It's wonderful. I'm gonna add 1 cup of cocoa powder. Before we mix all this together, we wanna make sure we get our pan set up. I always spray the pan, and I always use parchment paper. If you don't want to use parchment paper, you can totally just do fat and flour to coat it. I love parchment paper because then the cake just pops straight out. There's no chance of it sticking. So I'm gonna save these for later. On to mixing. Cocoa powder, cake mix. It's got everything else you need in here. Really important, paddle attachment. I didn't pay attention to that. I just thought, let me whisk it all together like normal. This again is science. And you will mess up all the concoctions they have in here to make this magical gluten-free cake mix if you whisk it. I'm gonna go ahead and mix it. And I'm mixing it because I want the cocoa powder to be distributed evenly. We have our mix in here. You're gonna add the whole eggs, so you can do that together. And we are going to mix with the paddle attachment for 1 minute, okay? We wanna scrape down the bowl to make sure this is all combined before we add the next ingredients. It says to mix it for 2 more minutes. So I'm just gonna let it keep mixing for a little bit. So now that the eggs combined and it's that fudgy consistency, we're gonna slowly pour in the oil. After mixing the oil for 1 minute, we are gonna add that warm water now. When it starts to combine, I'm gonna scrape down the bowl one last time, and then I'm gonna let it mix on low speed for 5 minutes. Okay, I'm gonna scrape this down one more time just to make sure all of my cake mix is off the bottom of the bowl. I mean, it looks really pretty right now. That looks great. I'm gonna mix it for 1 more minute and then we're good to go. All right, this looks good. Scrape everything I can off of this paddle attachment. We do not like waste. All right, here's our cake batter. Look at that. All right, make sure it's spread evenly. You can use an offset spatula for this too. I just know this batter is really nice and it flows perfectly to the edges. Since it's a sheet tray, these will probably bake for like 10-15 minutes tops.